from 40. Just got it. Here's how it sounded on the Vols Radio Network.
The NBA season for your Atlanta Hawks begins today. They made some big splashes in the offseason and are looking to improve on a 43-39 season in which we saw a significant step back from the previous season. Let's get into a recap of last season, the offseason moves, and the improvements that need to be made for this season. Last season was a disappointing one for the Atlanta Hawks. In the 2020-2021 season, the Hawks had a winning percentage of .569 and lost in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. However, in 2021 and 2022, they had a winning percentage of .524 and lost in the first round in 5 games after a play-in victory. While not a significant decrease, an NBA East that only got better took advantage of Atlanta's slip and put them down to the 9 seed, causing them to, in the past, miss the postseason, but now force a play-in victory. While the Hawks' defense has never been a strong suit, they let up almost a 1% increase in points. While that may be small, it is a significant failure, as it led them to finishing bottom 10 in total points let up per game. They also ranked bottom 3 in forced turnovers, and for a potent offense, a turnover often means points on the other end. Other important stats are, the Hawks took the 12th least amount of 3-point shot attempts, surprising I know, but converted at the second highest percentage as a team. Another hugely surprising stat when one takes into account Trey, the Hawks had the least amount of turnovers for the league. Last season had some good and some bad, but let's see what changes were made. The biggest move, as one can see from the introduction, is the acquisition of Dejante Murray. Atlanta gave up a lot to acquire him, as you can see here. But let's see what they are getting in return, as that is a known commodity. Here are the stats of 2 players, eerily similar, right? The top stat line is 2012-2013 Russell Westbrook. This is the year Russell finished 9th in MVP voting. The bottom stat line is 2021-2022 Deshante Murray. While eerily similar, there are major differences. Dejante Murray is .03 points more effective and is shooting an average .2 more steals per game. Significant when seeing that Russell Westbrook garnered Defensive Player of the Year votes that year. Furthermore, Russell Westbrook would have his breakout season 2 years later at age 26, Deshante Murray's age this season. In my opinion, Dejante Murray is the closest thing we have seen to prime Westbrook, but with significant improvements to shooting efficiency and defense. Furthermore, AJ Griffin and Tyrese Martin picked at 16 and 51 respectively in this year's draft, were Atlanta's 2 draft picks. While they are additions, they are not likely to play big roles this season. Griffin has missed the entire summer league, and with one of Trey and Dejante Murray likely always being on the floor, he likely will not find much time on the floor. On the other hand, Martin has been amazing in this summer league, but again, for the same reasons, likely will not find much time in the lineup. The rookies both are essentially confined to the backcourt, and while their depth is appreciated, frontcourt help would have definitely been preferred. Other additions include Erin Holiday, Justin Holiday, Trent Forrest, and Frank Kaminsky. These signings are purely cheaper replacements and moves I honestly don't love. Erin Holiday, Justin Holiday, and Trent Forrest are replacements for Lou Will, Delon Wright, and Kevin Knox. They are all cheaper and worse versions of the players that walked in free agency. Erin Holiday is $6 million cheaper, and while comparable on offense to Delon Wright, he lacks that veteran leadership and defense. Put simply, a lot of the free agent signings were replacements of a worse level purely because they were cheaper. Frank Kaminsky, signed to replace Deng, is a good move if Kaminsky can stay healthy, which he has quite literally never done. I'd rather have Deng. Finally, players lost in trades Danilo, Gallinari, and Kevin Huerter. For similar reasons, players were let go and cheaper players were signed. Gallinari and Huerter were traded to save money. However, the trades were beneficial. Gallinari traded for Murray, instantly got hurt. While getting rid of Huerter definitely hurts the offense, Dejante plays the same position, and the Hawks received a first-round pick for him. Overall, I think the Atlanta Hawks improved a lot this offseason. Big trades led to massive new pieces while large contracts came off the books for similar producing cheap players. Most sportsbooks have the Hawks at winning 45 games. I'm going to take the over and say the Hawks will win 51 games, and likely be the 5th seed. While the NBA East is extremely competitive, this team is vastly improved. While I honestly think if this team stays the course they will do well, there are 2 changes that need to be made to achieve those 51 wins. The first development is that the defense needs to improve. Last year, the Hawks finished with the 2nd highest offensive rating and 5th worst defensive rating. As discussed, in the offseason we lost outside shooting for defense. I expect the offense to remain the same, as we only attempted the 18th most threes per game, and the defense is massively improved. Dejante Murray, a perennial candidate for Defender of the Year, will match the best player in the opposing team's backcourt. That allows the newly extended, 4 years, $95 million, DeAndre Hunter to stop doing that. While his defensive stats are not great, it is because last season he was always guarding the opposing team's best player. Now he can float around and be more versatile. And Clint Capella, of course, is like a mini, not in size, Rudy Gobert around the rim. Finally, the Hawks need to start out hot. This is the second change. Last season, the Hawks started 28-30. Luckily, they finished the season 15-9. To start the season, the Hawks have the 5th easiest strength of schedule for the first 20 games. They face the Rockets, Magic, and Hornets in the first 3 games. Anything less than a 3-0 start would be disappointing. November is a hard month, but the early months of October and December have opponents at a projected winning percentage, according to sportsbooks, of less than 42%. This is significant because from January on, the average projected winning percentage is 50% or above for all months. Coming out hot is going to be massively important, and they are going to need around 26 wins and 10 losses by the end of December to win 51 games. To sum it all up, while I am usually confident about Georgia sports, I believe the Hawks have a great chance to achieve success like the 2020-2021 season. While I think an NBA Finals victory is out of reach, an appearance in the Eastern Conference Finals is definitely a possibility. But perhaps more importantly than anything, the Hawks are going to be an interesting team to watch. A potent offense with an improving defense with not a single player over 28, that's important, is a mixture for fun. While they may not win it all, this team should be an enjoyable experience for the state of Georgia. Thank you for watching. Go Hawks. This has been Joseph Kopshaw at Peach State Sports.